Well, guys, they lied to us. They told us that this Inflation Reduction Act was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. The Biden administration sold us a bill of goods, and well, you got enough lawmakers to go ahead and pass this thing. And we're not going to talk about the whole debacle with the EBT system that we experienced this past weekend. EBT, SNAP, food stamps users weren't able to purchase groceries at the grocery store, Walmart, Target, Costco, BJ's, Wholesale Club, Publix, Aldi, you name it. Millions of people were negatively impacted by the fact that the EBT and the SNAP benefits program was down this past weekend. But we were sold a bill of goods. They were telling us that, this Inflation Reduction Act is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and how it's going to help out the American people who are struggling right now to deal with high interest credit card debt. Everything is, anything from food to higher gas prices. Granted, gas prices have come down, but let's be honest, folks, gas prices are still high. They're still high. They're lower than the recent high, but they're high. And, let's not even talk about the housing market, the rental market. Anyone looking to buy a house in this market is good luck with that. You're going to need a massive down payment to attempt to offset the higher interest rates that are being charged by banks and mortgage companies, thanks to the rather aggressive actions that the Federal Reserve has been taking in terms of attempting to address inflation. Now, to be very honest with you, the average person, and you guys comment down below if you disagree, but the average person is not benefiting at all from anything that we're seeing from the Fed so far in terms of the raising of the interest rates. Thank you, Jerome Powell, but we're not seeing the benefits yet. Now, are we going to see, is the average American going to see the benefits of rising interest rates thanks to the Fed in the future? That remains to be seen. But for now, granted, the housing market has slowed down a little bit in terms of sales, but rent prices are not slowing down. And based on the research that I've covered in previous videos, you guys can check those out if you want. I don't see any reason to think that rental prices, the prices that, if you don't own a home, the price for rent, I don't see why those prices would be going down anytime soon. Now, as you guys can see, I apologize. I don't apologize. It is what it is. Here's my kitchen. It's a mess. We're in the middle of a massive kitchen renovation, and it's very hard to eat and feed yourself when you have no stove, no sink, and hindsight's always 20/20. But we probably shouldn't have attempted to replace all of the sinks on this main floor at one time. All but one sink. It's made life very difficult, and we've had to make do with purchasing a tabletop stove. So we're waiting on supplies, and the labor market is still out of control. The supply chain is still a problem. So we're being affected even to this day, where we don't have enough supplies to complete the kitchen just yet. We're waiting on ordered items, so hopefully they'll be in shortly and we can get this thing finished out, because the kitchen behind me is pretty much useless right now. Pretty much the only thing that we can use is the pantry. Thankfully, the pantry has been well stocked, and we can use the refrigerator, but there's no stove, there's no sink. It's kind of rough right now. Now, President Biden and the Democrats, they're setting up this IRS. Now, you guys know about the whole Inflation Reduction Act. They've allocated $80 billion to fund the IRS. And of course, the IRS's goal is to bring in more revenue so that the government can continue its wild spending spree, handing billions upon billions of dollars over to foreign countries such as the Ukraine and company. Meanwhile, Americans here are struggling to make ends meet with high interest credit card debt, whether it's, your Visa, MasterCard, your American Express, your Discover card, heck, even your store cards, your Home Depot card, your Lowe's card, your Macy's card, everything, all of the interest rates associated with all of those cards, for the most part, is heading higher thanks to the Fed's actions and, of course, the inflation and the economy. So, it's all hitting us. Now, this $80 billion that's being sent over to the IRS, they're telling us, oh, well, don't worry about that. We're only going to come after those who are making over $400,000 a year. Fat chance. Fat chance. You don't hire 87,000 brand new noob IRS agents to come after people who understand the tax code, people who understand how to take advantage of legal loopholes that allow them to save money on their taxes. You send these 80,000, 87,000 new armed IRS agents, mind you, after the peasants of the world, those who are making less than $400,000 a year, who don't have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to the millions of dollars to allocate to a team of tax strategists and tax advisors that will allow the wealthy to be able to leverage whatever type of legal loopholes are available to them. The average American's not going to know anything about that, nor can the average American generally afford the tax strategists' fees and consultation fees in order to kind of, get them through tough times. Now, again, the Biden administration and the Democrats are setting up this IRS, and they're creating like an intelligence agency. Now, you guys are aware of the fact that the IRS, or I should say the federal government and the Federal Reserve, they want to move away from cash. They want to ban or outlaw cash. Why? Well, the reason is because they want to be able to track your spending. They want to track transactions. They want to be able to increase their revenues by making sure that there's no cash transaction that could be taxed that may have not quite been reported. Now, can't imagine any situation where that would come into play, but the IRS and all forms of tax collection entities, they want to make sure that they're getting their fair share, and they want to make sure that there's nothing falling through the cracks. Yeah, how else can you support your endless spending spree? Now, some of these changes are resulting in the improperly named Inflation Reduction Act. And they've basically positioned the IRS, also known as the Internal Revenue Service, as a potent political weapon that the Democrats can basically use, to their own advantage. You got the Patriot Act. So the Patriot Act and most, of these acts that occurred after 9/11, they surveillance state, and they show just how swiftly and uncontrollably seemingly good intentions can balloon into, I don't want to say a communist dream, but it's kind of like, well, what else? What else do you call this thing where you're just trying to corral everyone and control everyone? Now, you can combine the expansion of the National Security Agency style collection of data with, the supercharged, self-staffed IRS. And we could be facing some of the worst times going forward. Now, some of the publications that you might read are talking about how they're going to allocate some of these funds toward making tax filing easier. And while that might be true, it won't be true for everyone. Now, the role of the reformed IRS is not going to be, according to what we're being told, to squeeze CEOs and the 8-figure corporate functionalities, but to get every single dime from ordinary people via excessive auditing. Now, you guys comment down below if you've ever been audited or if you've ever had to deal with a tax audit. If you haven't, it's not fun. Now, the bureaucrats at this agency realize that the wealthy and the large companies, they've got tax attorneys on retainer, tax attorneys, you've got tax strategists, you've got all of these tax experts on retainer. And even if they don't, they could easily hire one. And this is precisely why the IRS audits the poor and why they audit the poor at such a higher rate than the wealthy. Well, it's like, it's almost like being a bully. You can just pick on those who don't have the the high dollar, the very expensive, highly skilled tax attorneys and tax strategists. And so you go after those who don't have those professionals under retainer, and well, you can shake people down. And so this is the scary part of what we're expecting to occur with the IRS's new expanded armed IRS audit workforce coming out, armed agents. So, scary times moving forward. Now, the resulting increased revenue collected from the working class, the middle class, the lower middle class, it's going to be enough to allow the Congressional Budget Office to continue to just spend and spend and spend. IRS audits provisions as a $20 billion tax hike on the middle and working classes. The expansion of the IRS's bureaucratic state will also result in the largest tax increase on ordinary people in decades. So I'll be honest with you guys, between the inflation that we're dealing with, the recession that we're headed toward, and the impending mass layoffs from different companies, I think that the best thing that anyone can do to prepare and to strategize themselves and their families is to make sure that you have diversified your income. Most people wouldn't be able to survive, a month or 2 months if their income were to suddenly disappear. And now is the best time to put yourself in a strong financial position. Make sure to create that second stream of income if you don't already have a second stream. Create that third stream of income if you haven't done that already. Most people, if they look through their banking statements, they will see that they have far more debit transactions than they have credits. And the goal here is to create more credit transactions than you have debit transactions, which would mean you have a lot more income coming in than you have expenses. And, I just want to let you guys know, I'm still working on getting to your emails. I'm getting a lot of emails from you guys asking, hey, how do I get this side hustle going? How do I create this passive income stream that you're talking about? I know other people are doing it, but I just don't know how to get started. And I'm seeing a pattern here from the emails that I'm getting. And I know a lot of people are trying to take action, but please bear with me. I'm working on getting back with every one of you guys. I'm even working with a couple of people on getting their YouTube channels going. So, I just want to pat everyone on the back who's showing the initiative and who's actually not just, taking my advice, listening to my advice, but they're actually taking action. So, a big pat on the back from me to you. Please be patient. I'm working to get to all of your emails, but we have to be prepared, guys. Things are going to get rougher waters in the future. And there are some big changes coming up that will affect us as a result of the current U.S. China-Taiwan relationship, which I'm going to get into the details on how that's going to affect us in the coming months. Big changes, guys. But anyway, if you made it this far in this video, drop a like for the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.